So now the company, we're gonna two things that we're gonna do. We're gonna manage global production, map global production processes. So we need to framework and to like be able to visualize what is the global production chain of certain products, and also to manage these global value chains that seem too easy, but in fact they're so difficult to manage due to the different disruptions in the environment that can lead to a lot of problems. So what are we working on? These holiday ornaments, where are the Christmas ornaments and decorations made, and who makes them? Okay, so they are in Light Commodities Market in China, and the production is in eastern China in the region of Jiangxi Delta, where over 60% of these products are produced. So we have to have the understanding that this is a problem that was raised. You may guess that it's because of the pandemic, by which a lot of container ports were having a lot of problems, and they were behind schedule, and there were a lot of lockdowns in the factories due to the pandemic. And it's not just the pandemic, but the after pandemic and the waves of the virus that arose and kept the problems arising in the shipments, in the containers, in delays, etc. So now the actors and activities. Okay, so we have Walmart, which is a multinational led firm. We know that it's a primary buyer in this global value chain, and it needs to determine where, what, when are we gonna start selling to people, everything, and to be able to communicate through the sourcing agents, the specific producers, the suppliers. Also, the source agent will be evergreen shipping, which is a primary, like this is, for me, it's the most important actor, because it needs to have needs to be clear and to be able to communicate at all times. So if there's something that is not said by the source agent, everything can go wrong. Also, the wholesalers are China's Light Commodities Market, which need to manage low prices, and the manufacturers source materials and coordinate a workforce to complete products and match samples. This is why China is so important, because the manufacturing capacity is huge, and they manage large quantities at a low price. And of course, the trade company, which is Omega International. Places involved. Why China? Because of the cheap labor, a lot of population, reduced shipping times, and the country's free trade. How small companies should compete. If you're a small company and you're a family company, your product is not going to be able to compete with industrial products that other companies manage. You need to differentiate your products in the design, in the functioning, and also to be able to brand it correctly. Okay, so why outsourcing? It is too expensive to import. So if you're a company and you want to make everything yours, but sometimes it's much more expensive. I have one good argument. In China, there are a lot of machinery that is automatized. So their automatization helps a lot, because these companies that manufacturers don't have to pay a lot of wages to people, because the machines are able to do them themselves. So this type of technology, you have to have it to be able to be competitive with your prices. And this doesn't this is not enough, because the raw material needs to be very competitive as well. So you need to have these two things. So it's mostly recommended to do a Walmart strategy, and I don't recommend to move their operations inside of the country. It would be too expensive. They avoid the risks of depending on their own factories. If something goes wrong, they absorb the hit. And I think that it's smart to have a lot of suppliers, so you can avoid risks and be able to drop at any time with one and be able to go with another one and try to find the same or a similar price. Okay, so risks. Risks of this, of course, there's no just-in-time guarantee. There is like in each, the longer the supply chain, the longer the time of delays and of waiting, and the bureaucracy of everything. There needs to be a lot of communication. So this is such like the biggest risk, because some clients might need the products as soon as possible, but you are not going to be able to have them. So this means that you either have to wait or to order it much earlier. Also, the containers that are stuck in, and if there's a pandemic, then you shouldn't send the containers. You should wait and not make any deals, because that cost of the container being in the middle of the supply chain is going to hit you hard. Countries' political risks, of course, this is also a very important problem, because now there was almost a third world war, as so with Ukraine and Russia, and this even like it hit economically everywhere. So these political risks are important for the company. Health risk, we're talking about the pandemic specifically, but we know that everything is just like related to the same problem. Like you can have a pandemic and then just not have it just in time, or container stock, or this has a lot of political risks and the logistics risk. There are two ways that we can mitigate this. As one is to diversify even more. You can go to another country, like I don't know, in the same Asia, like I don't know, Vietnam, Taiwan. You need to go somewhere else and try to find a competitive price, even though if it's not like the same one, but you should be able to have a plan B outside of the country that you're supplying from. And improve multicultural information. There is more to know in your suppliers. I think that you need to, if you want to eventually try to do your own operations, there are years of experience of communication that you need to take care of to be able to move to a second step. So maybe you can learn from them and try to keep up and get to know their, like, all of their processes and operations, so you will have an idea, and then you can maybe even buy machinery from them and maybe take care of a certain production line of ornaments. But yeah, generally it's to improve the multicultural communication. And does ordering even earlier solve the problem? It helps. There is a change in demand. Obviously, the clients will see the ornaments and will try ordering first. But we know that there is always, we depend on the client, the desperate client that in same December, everyone goes crazy and the demand goes up. And if your product is there the whole time, maybe it starts getting invisible for the customer when they want to buy something different or something that they haven't seen, no? Or if it's like more like surprising to them. But of course there are changes in the pattern of consumption, and they are seen, like there are some articles that were seen about Colombia, where you can divide the two types of customers: the prepared customer that is ready to spend and invest in Christmas ornaments, or the rushed customer that is in need and will buy ornaments even if they are at a higher price. So I think that it helps to put them earlier. It does help. It shouldn't be your only solution, but yes, I agree that it does change the demand in the customer. And the consumption pattern does change. So I could say, like, build their own factories. I wouldn't have I would say that yes, but eventually in if you have backed up that you have the machinery and everything gives you the same competitive price that China gave you. And I think that yes, you can meet there at some point, but not at the beginning, and not if you're seeing that they are managing amazing prices. But of course the logistics and the supply chains will be smaller, so it will definitely